We're closely following this breaking news coming out today about the big changes on the way you get your mail. Canada Post announced this morning it will phase out door-to-door delivery due to a drastic decline in letter mail. It's also going to raise the price of a single stamp to $1. Canada Post revenue dropped by millions in the first 3 quarters of this year. I want to break down those numbers and how we got here, because that's always important. Joining me live from our Ottawa studio is Manitoba MP Steven Fletcher, the former Minister of State responsible for Canada Post. Welcome to you, Minister.
Thank you. Well,
you were there until July of this year. So you were there when, the financial problems were happening. Why is it that we're talking about this as breaking news today and, you didn't take care of this problem earlier?
Well, it should come as no surprise to anyone who has been watching the postal industry right across the entire world, in fact. And even when I took over the position in 2011, there was significant problems with the business model, and you'll recall there was a work stoppage right after the 2011 election, which just exacerbated the decline in mail volume. So what we have is people utilizing email and other communication technology in place of mail, and a model of mail delivery that was, essentially created at the turn of the last century.
But you know what, Minister, you say that it was no surprise that we could see this coming. My 15-year-old could have told you that fewer people are sending snail mail years ago. So you're right, it's no surprise. So why then the business goes so far in the red before you guys say, or Canada Post says, oh my goodness, we have to do something?
Well, they have been doing a number of things with modernization and so on, but Canada Post is a great Canadian institution with a great amount of institutional inertia. If you take, for example, the union negotiations with Cup W, where we actually had to go to the Parliament to get that process going again, it's very difficult. It is all, for example, as the demand for mail decreases, it is very difficult for Canada Post to adjust its workforce accordingly. In fact, you could argue that it is more difficult to get rid of or replace a Cup W employee than it is to get rid of a senator. It is.
Where are you going with this?
I'm just saying that the job security, which everyone wants job security, but in a situation where Canada Post finds itself in, the benefits and along with the other ththings that occur have made Canada Post not competitive with private alternatives.
Yeah, maybe it got too big for its own boots or something like that. But you know what? You mentioned the word inertia. Were you part of that inertia when you were, what was it, Minister of State responsible for Canada Post?
No, I was not. I was not part of the inertia. I was a wall, but it was. It takes time to come up with these plans, and they're and quite frankly, Cup W was the main blockage on a lot of these initiatives. Like the Canada Post is going to go towards more of a corporate model instead of having its own post offices, looking at the Shoppers Drug Mart model where you can go to a store that's open, so often 24/7.
And you can use the mail service.
And you can use the mail service,
I just have one final thing, and we're running out of time, Mr. Fletcher, but are you blaming the unions? Because you've kind of said, a lot of this rests on Cup W this, Cup W that, hard to fire Cup W. I'm getting that sense.
Well, I empathize with the unions because they have found a union. They're in an impossible situation. The industry has completely changed. Technology has forced Canada Post to change its business model, and it makes it impossible for the unions to ask or demand what they've had in the past, be it pension or job security or whatever.
I have to leave it there, Stephen. So thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Manitoba MP Steven Fletcher joining me from Ottawa. He is the former Minister of State responsible for Canada Post.
CBC